I mean, listen, I think it's appropriate that you're dressing in blue considering how sad we all are for losing her last night.
I know.
Oh, well, I want to start even before the race proper because obviously you had undergone a good amount of life changes in the past couple of years, right? And both of you retiring. So, how long have you been watching The Amazing Race? Was being on the show always kind of in the mind's eye? And what led to you kind of making that leap onto our screens?
This is going to be funny, and I feel bad saying that we knew about the show but didn't really watch the show. We were busy, we shift work, family, so I always knew the show was out, but never watched and said, "Oh, that'd be pretty cool." So I retire. Her niece comes out. We're driving to a Dodger game. We were in the freeway, just driving around, messing around, and our niece is a super fan, and she goes, "You guys should go on The Amazing Race." And
And I'm like,
I was like, "What do you mean?"
I said, well, I've seen maybe one episode in
And
the last, and it's not because it's not a great show. It's just,
we're busy.
yeah.
So it kind of piqued my curiosity. So I got home the next day from the game and I got on the computer and I said, "How to apply for The Amazing Race?" It said, "Fill out the application and do a video." And it's funny, we're sitting right here. I said, "Hey, Shelisa, come over here. We're going to do this little 3-minute video that they asked." And you see how she is. And we got selected.
Well, no, well, Derek starts off the video by saying, we've been super fans.
I didn't say super fans. I said we've been fans.
We've been watching the show, forever. And I just went like, I said, he lying. We are. I said, you know what? We're going to be honest. And, and although we haven't watched it, but if we're selected, then we'll become super fans too, because of course, we heard so much about the show. And if it's been on that long, then clearly it's a great production.
Well, let's now fast forward to the way that things ended in this mega lake. I mean, from our perspective, despite the fact that, you had so many tasks ahead of you, it really did seem like it came down to, that first detour, that first roadblock. So let's start with the detour. I mean, how long were you there swinging, bolas over your head till the cows came home? And when did you decide to make that switch?
I don't want to cut her off, but I have to say this. So The Amazing Race was about being fun. We read that thing and it says, ride a bike or do the Bolero. And I'm like, you know what, Shelisa, let's have some fun. We are exercise enthusiasts. We ride bikes. There's a bike in our bedroom.
Peloton in our bedroom that we ride just about every morning.
So I said, let's try something different. She did, and this woman, there's a time and place, and she should have spoke up, but we went there, we had fun. So we get there and I see Yvonne and Melissa there. And I'm like, because I thought we were behind. And I'm like, shoot, they're there.
I said, we can catch up now.
So they say practice. So Shelisa does it. I practice one time. I'm like, let's just go. I'm thinking I'm an athlete. I think I can just do this. Man,
she's an old athlete.
She does it. Boom. I'm like, okay.
And I'm like, yes, Derek's going to get it right away.
Nope. I was like, what is going on? I'm like, and we always said we never change. So I'm confident in myself. I'm going to get it. But again, since I messed up in choosing that and she said, let's go, we had to go. I think I went through 3 rounds. It was just you had to wait for that bull to come all the way back into the area where you can hit him.
Yeah, so we had 10 each. So we may have done it 4 rounds. And of course, when you're on the race, time is something that you don't realize. So I don't know how long we were actually on that that detour, but it was long enough to know that Derek was going to take a while to get it.
Okay, see, there you go, bashing. We're off the show. You don't stop bashing. We're off the show. Just
okay.
leave it alone. Just let it go. It's in the past. Let it go. Just let it go.
Anyway, so then we decided, okay, let's just go to what we know, which is the bike.
Yeah, I mean, I love Derek saying "let it go," and the irony was that he had trouble letting things go in the first place.
That was a good one.
Thank you. Well, I mean, the other thing that's interesting, though, is, again, like the mega leg, I'm sure you had it in your heads, like, okay, there's still so much more to go. We can catch up. Was there a certain point, though, over the course of that leg where you're like, this is not getting good? I mean, we didn't even see you do the second detour. Did you do the second detour?
No.
Okay, so
after I got my butt whooped on the soccer thing, we went in.
Yeah.
So then what was going through your heads in those moments between, like, I'm sure between that and also the roadblock, which there were some struggles on as well, did it become less and less likely that you were going to survive this?
Yeah, well, you know what's, it's terrible when you get there and you see there's only one clue left and you go, uh-oh, we better get this in one or we're done. And, it's just, just reality sets in and it's like, you know what, we have fun. It's something that we never thought we would do in our lives. And we were actually, I was very happy to have experienced this. Not everybody does. So we feel like we're part of the elite group now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what I find so interesting is you guys start off strong, right? Third, third, third. You talk about this on the mat with Phil that you feel like you are really underestimated, but you're starting to show like what you're capable of and just your strengths and your strength in your relationship. And then it ends up kind of falling from there, sixth,
Right.
eighth, and then eighth again, which is the reason why you're talking to me. Do you think there is like a hard and fast reason why that ended up happening? Was it momentum, specific tasks?
Well, I think what really got us was when we fell to the third group and we thought we were going to be in the second group, because I think it was 3-3, and that really just boom set us. And then you don't have to choose, but the language barrier, it's hard to understand Spanish if they say go 2 blocks and then right after that make the circle and go. It's hard to decipher that in Spanish. We don't speak it. So we struggled. I mean, we both read maps all the time, but that was our difficult. If she would say like cincuenta, look for cincuenta street. In my mind, because I'm not a Spanish speaker, I'm looking for an S street when actually it's a C. So those were our really difficult things. And we depended upon ourselves instead of aligning ourselves. If we'd have aligned ourselves with everyone else like that, we'd still be rolling.
Yeah, but I think because we're so independent people, we just felt like, okay, we got this. And we did kind of deviate from our original plan. We said we're going to stick to things that we know and they're going to be physical because we're a little older, so maybe our brains don't work, as well as it used to. We may not be able to do a puzzle as well or, figure out certain things. So our game plan was to stick to what we know. So when it came to the Bolero, if we'd have stuck to the bike, I think that we could have made up time and caught up because that's familiar to us. So I think, us deviating from, our game plan kind of hurt us. And we also said we would never switch detours because we know what happens when people do for the most part. And then we had to do that too. So so I think just, deviating from our game plan, cost us, not to still be racing.
I think it's so interesting though that you mentioned, if we had aligned ourselves with some other teams, we could have made it further. Because when I talked with Kishori and Karishma last week, they alluded to like that you were kind of working together. What's your perspective on that?
Oh, yes, our race daughters. We love them. Absolutely. So yeah, so we actually did we tried to align ourselves actually in the with the statues. Um Karishma and I worked together. And although that wasn't, shown, but we did work together, but then it became difficult because my board was on one side and hers was swapped. So then it became apparent that, we were just confusing each other. But we always, supported them, especially with the cooking and the skateboarding. And so we definitely, wanted to see them continue with us as well.
So what I find so great about you two is obviously you have such an entertaining dynamic. You are not afraid to, tell each other how you're feeling. But I'm always intrigued on The Amazing Race. I mean, that puts even the strongest relationships to the test. With even the way that you talk to each other, outside of the race, did you find that things were tested in a very different way, being in such a high pressure situation? And how did you deal with that?
I told Shelisa, I said, look, you see how she talks. I said, Shelisa, don't show off for the millions of people out there in TV land. I'm your husband. Tone it down a little bit, Mija. Tone it down a little bit.
But this is, I mean, I am who I am. I always feel like I have an opinion that needs to be heard. So
Listen, we wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, last thing I want to ask is on that note. I mean, again, you two have lived a lifetime together, 34 years, I think you said. So I'm intrigued though. What's the biggest thing you learned about the other person racing around the world together? Derek, we'll start with you.
Shalisa and I leisurely travel. We love doing that. And she is, I don't want to give her too much credit, but she did everything. I mean, she can do everything. If she wouldn't boast about it so much, it would be great. But no, really, I'm proud of the fact that we got selected. We went through the selection process. We didn't get eliminated first. we did very, very well, and people respect us. She looks good. She had people laughing. So I'm just proud of her. She made her parents proud on that show.
And Shalisa, what about you?
I actually, so Derek doesn't have the best patience in the world, but it definitely improved on the race. So I was most proud that Derek was able to, you know, be calm in situations which I can, you know, sometimes agitate. And but he was able to be calm and think through things and just just not give up. So well, besides the Bolero, I made him give up on that one.
So, you know,
so
I didn't want to. I said, I got this.
he did not want to. I forced him to give up on that. But basically just him, you know, just sticking with it.
Aren't you
And
actually proud of me? I only got bleeped out twice. I have a potty mouth. I only got bleeped out twice. You only frustrated me that much while I got driving in the car with the directions.
yeah, but I think just, you know, I think us having patience with each other um improved. Even it may not have translated on television, but we know that area improved with being on the show.
Well, what it did translate on television was just your personalities, both of them shining through, and honestly, the strength of your relationship. I think on paper, if people looked at like some of the things that were being said, they'd be like, "Oh no, what's going on here?" But again, I think the way that you always regarded each other was with this sort of like confidence, and that you knew how to speak to each other, you knew how to communicate, you knew what your love languages were, as you talked about at one point. And so I just loved getting to watch the two of you, knowing that like you had so much, you know, love and faith in each other, but also simultaneously got to have fun and got to make great TV as well. It was the perfect, for lack of a better term, marriage, in my opinion. So thank you so much for everything you brought to the show.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
you're
thanks.
welcome.
Thanks.
Of
Wish
course.
we could have stayed longer.
Well, I wish you and the family nothing but the best. And thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me. All the best.
All
All
right.
right, thank
Thanks.
you. Have a
Bye.
Take
nice
care.
day.
Bye-bye.